a wall. Or, if I'm really scared, let me build a cage around my house. That's what you do if you have, or let's go and live in a gated community. And if that doesn't work, let's just close off the public road. Whatever it takes to make me safe. That's how the more affluent deals with it. I'm sure some of them would go and live on an island if they could. But if you haven't got the money, if you cannot even pay, you don't know how you're going to pay for tonight's food for your children, what do you do then? What do you do if this is how you live? Now, unfortunately, we have now seen this is a development for poorer communities, but they can still pay. So this is what is provided. Unfortunately, they have decided that they want a wall as well, because that is what the affluent can do. So even the poorer people now want to have that wall to protect just because it seems like the right thing to do. Now, the interesting part about this is, that is the development that I've just showed you. This is an informal settlement, a favela, I don't know what you call it, informal settlement, where the people that have now moved to there used to live here. But they say they want to be protected from their neighbors. But they used to live there just recently. But the wall must be there, because that is the sign of security. So, 2 quick examples. This is one way of dealing with participation in one of our very poor communities, or what we normally do in the poorer communities. And this is a process that involves people in the decision making from the start. It's not an add-on. It is designed to facilitate that getting information from people who live in a specific area, because they know what's happening there, probably better than anyone else. So it is a one-day workshopping process, and the intention and the key here is to involve all the role players, not just the people living there, but the local municipal councillor, the municipal officials, the police. And in many cases, this is the first time that these people actually talk about crime in their area. They don't even speak to each other. That's one of the values of this type of workshop. You get people to draw where they live and where they feel unsafe. Because immediately people start to think spatially about the environment and not just crime is everywhere. Think, draw it, and then we put that on a big map. We plot the dangerous areas that the people identified themselves. And then we do what you shouldn't do. We actually go there with everyone. We visit these crime hotspots and we photograph them, because then again you're focusing on the problem. You're not just looking at the environment and saying this is where the crime is happening. Focus by taking photographs of perhaps open spaces, that vacant land, buildings that are hiding places for criminals, vacant buildings, or just a lack of lighting, simple. Then we come back, we take these photographs, and we discuss them and say, what seems to be the real problem? Why is this a crime hotspot? And you get the people themselves to start analyzing what the problem could be. And then we prioritize. Take just a few. Don't try and solve all your problems in one workshop. Take a few, 1, 2, or 3 of these problems, and use the community members to develop a response to that. And the response does not necessarily have to be something that they can do themselves, but some of it they can do. But it could be taking responsibility for going to the official in the municipality that can do something about it, and keeping pressure on that person. So it could mean taking a situation like this, all this and just cleaning it up, making sure that your environment changes. That's one way. Or taking this and creating an environment that's more pedestrian friendly. And then there's one step further that you can take this. You can combine the local knowledge with more modern technology like geographic information systems. And you can, that is the type of area we're talking about. Remember what this photograph looks like, because we're going to show something opposite of that just now. And then you get the people's information and you put that, and you will find crime spots that you've never known of before, coming from the people. And you add that to the police data, and suddenly you've got a GIS, geographic information system, map that is much more rich in information than just getting what you get from police data. Okay, that was one example. How are we doing on time there? Still? All right. This is an example of something that happened in a completely different type of context. This was a project that we were asked to be involved with. Now, I must just make this clear. We were only asked to come and do certain things. I believe that the participation process here is not the true participation, the commitment type of participation that we spoke about earlier. This is not a big type of participation, more a chicken type of participation. However, it's a good project. This German cultural institution asked us to assist them because they would like to take off the wall around their building and replace it with other mechanisms. Now that goes completely against what people want to do. They want to put up walls in our society. And so we were asked to speak to the employees and try and assist them in understanding what the consequences would be, so that we can help them to agree to this in the end. So the intention was to make this institute more accessible, and I'm not going to go through this, but there was also a relationship with them and the Berlin Wall that came down, so it was also a demonstration of their commitment to be open to other people within our society. So we had to workshop and discuss with the people working there and the people visiting to get them to understand that this is not going to be changing their lives, and suddenly their working environment is going to be dangerous because the wall is coming down. So we had to involve them in a number of workshops for them to understand. So as you can see, this is almost an after-the-fact type of involvement, not as with the previous one where people are involved as part of the process. So look at the type of environment we're talking about here. This is an affluent society, an affluent neighborhood where the building is situated. You can see it's green. That's what it looks like. A high wall around the facility. So this had to come off. Now this is how scared the people were. This is the type of protection they wanted. Now they want to take it down. So we do a rudimentary risk assessment. We take workshop with them where the vulnerable areas are in the building. We go through that whole process of analyzing, and then what else can we do? How can we replace this with other septet mechanisms that you have heard about? Other septet principles can be applied. That is more to do with issues around, this is my area, I will protect it, not with a wall, but by being there. Using landscaping, using the type of paving, making sure that you can see this is now, you're now on our property. And then that's a zoning diagram where you can see private, semi-private, private space. Where would you put up electronic equipment to assist you with beams? And then this is what happened. Here's the wall. Without the wall.